Alrighty guys, without further ado, spawning in the top left in the pink, give it up from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it is Zest. And spawning in the bottom right in the red, give it up for the Terran, it is Special. Now Special recently joined Storm, from what I was actually seeing, so really cool to see him getting into StarStorm. They have some great players all together. We'll see here where things go in this best of 5. Now, again, Special is one of those players that it seems as of late he kind of has either a hot streak or a bad streak at the moment. He's a player that definitely works hard, and his results do kind of speak for themselves, but it seems like as of late he has been struggling a little bit more in the tournaments. So we'll see how things kind of end up going. We do have Zest looking to take an expansion here, while Special still getting up that barracks behind it. Cybernex core going to be coming down for Zest. And, you know, I'm expecting to see Zest go into a lot of Blink Stalker plays. Maybe some, like, adept harassment, stuff like that. Maybe throw in some Stargate plays. We'll see, though. Special, though, going for the CC. I definitely consider Special a unorthodox Terran, just because he does like to favor mech from time to time more than, like, your average Terran would. I know there, for a while there, it seemed like that's all he would do is play mech. So Special going to be going into the main base with the SCP. Does get a decent scout, sees everything that he needs to, and the Marine giving chase to the probe as Zest making his way into the natural now. Just going to get a little bit of scouting information, or try to anyways, and does at least see that everything is as it should be. Now Special going to be sending his SCV back home, or at least kind of keep it in the corner to keep an eye on things, as Adept is going to be coming across for Zest. Behind this, we do have that Twilight Council on the way, throwing down additional gateways, which once again will allow him to go into that kind of Blink Stalker play that he loves to do so much. It is so strong as well. Zest, or excuse me, Special actually throwing the starport in the middle of the map, so it does look like we are going to be getting into a nice little Hellion drop. There we go. That is taken care of. The Stalker looking to make its way across the map. Again, there's only a Hellion here, and I think like a Marine. So not the best, but we'll see if he can somehow make do with it. Now, does have Marines on the way out, which will be able to kind of help push this back for the time being. And we do have that medevac on the way. Now the Stalker is going to be returning back, joining in with his Stalker buddy. Does got those Blink upgrades coming through. More Stalkers and more gateways. As it does look like now Zest going to go into a robotics facility. More than likely going to go either into a an observer or go into that warp prism play. Now Starport is going to be done. We do see the Hellions making their way across the map with all of this. Marines going to be joining in with the forces here. Marines looking to go into the front of the base, while the medevac going to get those beautiful Hellions to go into the main base. But Stalkers are already here. I don't think he's going to get too much done. Hellions are going to look to get a couple of probes. Let's get 2. Nothing too crazy. And now Marines not even able to get into the main base, so definitely kind of falling apart here for Special. He's going to pick up those Marines and bring them back for the time being. This looks like Zest wants to take a third base, but will deny the probe from building it for the time being. Finally, Zest will take a third base. Now Special will return back home. Just going to start moving things around as he finally brings that starport home. And now Zest with Blink done. Going to be transitioning into a DT shrine. We'll see how things kind of go from here. Trying to focus down onto the SCVs. We'll eventually start focusing down on the bunker. SCVs trying to heal this up. Taking a siege up, though, for Special. We'll push back Zest for the time being, but with that War Prism coming through, Ooh, even a nice little drop going across for Special. Blinking back, though. Gonna be able to kill a couple of probes here. Not a bad pickoff. Does get one Stalker. And gets out with a good chunk of his little army there. Forces Zest back for the time being. Gonna blink forward and try to pick off the medevac, but Special gets out of there. And he's still got what? Like, he still has 4 Marines in there, so definitely could still get some damage. Now, the siege tank is done. There's another siege tank going up onto the high ground. War Prism looking to go into the main at the same time. Here comes the Stalkers, though, onto the natural. Gonna blink back, and it looks like he's gonna try to do a little bit of a split here, but I don't know. With the siege tank in position, does he still risk it? Zest gonna come in with those Stalkers into the natural, trying to force an unsiege from Special, but looks like so far, Special going to hold his own. 6 SCVs, though, do go down. Another sit back. Marauders stem on the way. Eventually we'll push those few Stalkers back, and now Zest gonna go back into the natural. Or no, he's just gonna join forces with everything. And I mean, he really doesn't have a lot to worry about at the moment. He's got that 3rd base. He's kind of keeping Special contained in a sense. Like, yeah, Special's got a couple of tanks to defend, but he really can't move out. Not at the moment, anyways. DT's going to be coming through. Special does have energy, and he does have turrets, so not going to get really any damage done. Yeah. Almost loses a 2nd Dark Templar as well. Stem almost done. You got +1 on the way. It looks like now Special ready to go across and try to put on some counter pressure, or just try to shut this down. Yeah. Does force the Stalkers around, trying to take care of this pesky little medevac, but I think really just kind of gives an opportunity here for Special to essentially start pushing out, re-siege himself, get him in a better position. He still doesn't have a 3rd base yet. He's only on 2. So I guess you just kind of have to go for the 2-base pressure here. Does look like Zest, though, gonna go for a Archon drop, but again, with the tanks, with the turrets and stuff, you don't see this getting too much damage. Blinking back is Zest, Special gonna give chase to the small Stalker force. I do think Special deciding to at least take a 3rd base puts a little bit of an interesting position here for Special, because Zest does have that Archon drop coming in here. Obviously, there are a couple of Marines going to be coming in here. The tank's going to try to get on top of some of this. And for the most part, I think this just gets completely shut down. Ooh, even the missile turret's going to be able to get on top of this. And can he actually get it? Oh, just barely makes it out. But now we see a counter push going across for Special. But at the same time, Zest's going to be coming in here with those Stalkers. There's not going to be a whole lot here to defend. Well, catches wind of it, going to return back and try to put himself in somewhat of a defensive position. But look at this, the huge SCV push, the Marines, the Stalker, excuse me, the siege tanks, and those Marauders. So this is going to get kind of scary for Zest if he's not ready. Let's give it a good scan. Sees that there's going to be some Templar being added on, or some Archons, excuse me. Got those Zealots, Stalkers, and Immortals coming through. Tank's going to slowly start sieging up, spreading out as best as possible. Even going to throw down some missile turrets to get on top of this. And, yeah, I mean, this is definitely something we see a lot from, like, innovation. So kind of curious to see where he goes from here. Guardian Shield's going to go down for the Protoss. Zest's going to come in here with those charge lots. Going to try to get a nice surround onto the army here of Special. And the Marines in the back trying to deal as much damage to those Zealots, but the tanks end up falling down. There's only a handful of Marines. Does actually get the War Prism, though, but GG's called. And Zest takes game number 1 here. Special going to be going into double Reaper. And I don't know how much he or how much he, devotes to this, right? I mean, I guess you could spend maybe for, 4 Reapers. But after that, if it's not going to get any damage done, you just kind of sit back and say, okay, Let me just go back into a normal play. We do see the Adept coming across. Instantly, Reaper going to turn back. Going to wait for his little buddy to join with him. Special behind this is going to get his CC. And already we see kind of a weird take coming out here from Special. Gonna be a second Adept opening, though, for Zest. So not choosing to go into the Stalkers. Oh, no. Does he just shade into the main? Oh, this is so bad. Well, he does have the Reaper, so we'll come back. And now Zest is just basically trapped here. Could have got some, I guess, some SCV kills, but eventually just going to be able to kind of shut things down. And now he does have those 3 Reapers going to go across to try to put on some pressure of himself. But Zest going kind of heavier into the Adepts. I mean, just now transitioning into Stalkers. He's got that Twilight Council finishing up. And, I don't know, a little bit of a delayed tech. I mean, I guess considering what Special did, it's pretty decent. Actually does a nice little juke. Looking to go into the main base. Maybe even try to shut down a third base from Zest. But Special going to come in with the Reapers. Giving him a little bit of leeway from the Adepts that are eventually going to be coming in here. It just gets completely shut down. And all of that for only two probes. Just definitely not worth it. And now Zest has the better army, has the better economy, even has a third base on the way behind all of this. It just gets very, very tough for Special behind this. Now, he does have the Tech Lab done. Going to be eventually, I guess, throwing the starport onto it. And either going to go into a Raven, which does look like that is going to be the case, and then eventually go into Medivacs behind it. So, we'll see. Marine pushing forward for Special. We'll eventually scout that there is a third base. And we'll have kind of that inkling now behind this Zest going into those sentries. He does have Blink about finished up, adding on additional gateways, getting that forge, and throwing in a few more sentries. So going very sentry heavy, which is interesting. I mean, he's going to have Guardian Shields available. He's obviously going to be having a lot of scouting opportunities with the hallucinated Phoenixes. And even using force fields. Yeah, I mean, just gets a full-on scout. Alrighty. So, Tempo Archive is going to be the follow-up here for Zest. Throwing down some more shield batteries on the other side. Special still on that 2-base economy. Definitely favors going into like these 2-base pushes other than having to play out like a long drawn out TVP. Does have Stim almost finished up, as well as combat shields on the way and +1. Behind this Zest just adding on more probes, eventually kind of warping in some more Stalkers. And I think eventually goes into charge behind this. The longer that it goes through. Now Zest going to send across 4 Stalkers. Wants to put on some pressure and just kind of see where Special is at. As well as he does have Storm on the way, so looking very good for Zest. But you know what, Special, if he can somehow defend some of this stuff or catch wind of it and get some ghosts, I definitely think he has a way out of this. But it's just one of those things for, you know, really for Special, because he does choose to go into this kind of 2-base economy, that it just makes it so tough to play against someone like Special that, or excuse me, someone like Zest that likes to go into these kind of like 3-base aggressive plays. He's adding on 5 more gateways. He's got +1 on the way. Storm is about finished. Combat Shield's finishing up as well. And it just gets so tough from here on out for Special. He is going to start going across the map now with another drop. Or with a drop, and then he also has a push coming up behind this, but it's tough. Does send out 1 mine. Gets it taken out, though. Very nice. Gonna go into the natural. Same time, there is a nice little push coming out towards the third base. There we go. Storms, though, just completely annihilating what Special has here. He's gonna pick up, move back. Does get 5 probe kills altogether, but it really just has not been going his way. Killing off 9 probes altogether, an adept, 2 sentries. You hate to see it. And now the blink coming across the map. We do see the High Templar in the War Prism building up energy, looking to try to like pull out some kind of push, but he has to be careful with that War Prism coming in. Gonna warp in a bunch more Stalkers. And there's just not a lot here for Special. Storms do go down. Guardian Shield's gonna go up. Focuses down the sentries, which is a good play, but there's just so many Stalkers here. The Storm's going down and just completely obliterating the Terran. Widowmine's going to go down. And Special just kind of all over the place. Gets feeds back onto the medevacs. And yeah, I mean, he's trying to take a third base, but at 8 minutes, it's just, how do you do it? Gonna get the third base. Special going to give a scan out into the middle. Does not see anything, so and she just gonna pick up. Knows that there's really not any detection with the army of Zest. I don't think he has any observers either. No, he doesn't. Does have Charger in the way, +2. Zest going to I mean, I guess he just stays on 3 bases. Eventually maybe goes up to a 4th if he feels like he has to. Special throwing in the Ghost Academy. And we'll see from here kind of where he wants to go. I mean, +1 is almost done for Special. +2 is on the way. Once again for Zest. He's finally getting an observer, realizing that there are going to be Widow Mines coming through. And even throwing in some beautiful cannons. Just make sure he has enough here. And I mean, Zest just has an army all over the place, ready for anything that Special may try to throw at him. In all honesty, I mean, he does have Ghosts on the way. He's got that Shockwave, EMP Shockwave upgrade coming through. Scouter Zealot will at least let him know that there are units coming across, clearing up some of the rocks. And yeah, I mean, I like this from Zest, or excuse me, from Special. Throwing down a few mines kind of in pathways that could equal out a wraparound. Another storm goes off, just completely annihilating this. Does have an opportunity here. There is only like 1 storm left, but unfortunately, it's like Special cannot pounce on this like he wants to. Kind of unfortunate, but now the High Templar are going to get EMP'd out. Going to end up getting picked up. Feedbacks do go off, though, and will force Special back once again. Mine shot's going to go off. Will at least take out a couple of units. Nothing too crazy. Doesn't even get the War Prism, unfortunately. And yeah, with more Stalkers coming through, Special, GG's. So, spawning in the top right in the pink, give it up for the Protoss, it is Zest. Spawning down here in the bottom left in the red, give it up, it is Special. You got to feel for Special here. I mean, it seems like he's having a tough time in this series. And against a player like Zest, who definitely is a titan, a force to be reckoned with. I'm curious to see in game number 3, like, can Special do something to throw off Zest? Like, Zest this whole series definitely has felt like he's just kind of playing a standard, like, ladder map. And I love Special. Special is one of my favorite Terran players. But it definitely feels like in this series he's being outclassed. Like, he's going to go for something cheeky here with the eBay and kind of delay the expansion, right? Zest likes to go into that third base, build up into Stargate, or excuse me, into gateways, and then eventually just have enough stuff to overwhelm his opponent. So We'll see. We'll see. I think Special needs to do something different here. I mean, he has been trying some different builds each game, so that is good for him, but unfortunately it just seems like Zest has his number each game. But we'll see here in game number 3. Special going to take his own expansion. Finally, the Nexus coming down for Zest. And behind this is going to be a Marine opening, no Reapers. Going to go straight into the Reactor Barracks. Eventually throws down the second depot. And we'll see. No factory as of yet. Does he go into another like 2-on-1 situation here though? It's going to be the big curious thing because he does have enough now for a factory, which looks like he is going to go ahead and throw the factory down. Depth opening for Zest. And they're going to go into that Twilight Council once again. No surprises there. Eventually we'll see a third base coming out here for Zest pretty soon. And it should be more than okay. I'm going to go ahead and throw down a couple more gateways and start that additional production. Now this time it's only going to be one adept, switching back into that stalker style, so not looking to go for anything too crazy. And it does cancel the shade right away. Starport on the way. It's going to be a Widowmine drop this time from Special, so going to try to recuperate some of his losses, but even the adept just barely gets away. Crazy. I don't like this though. Special sending all of his Marines up to the front, kind of try to hide them, but the adept just gonna go shading around. Just have a couple of Marines in the natural, so I guess he'll be okay. We'll see. Robotics facility as a follow-up. Third base gonna be on the way here for Zest. And Blink about halfway done. And we're just going to start seeing that tech up, more and more of these stalkers. Eventually we'll see the Warp Prism coming through, and then eventually an attack coming out from Zest. Special. I'm going to send across the Marine. Does at least scout that there is a... Oh, okay. He hasn't seen it, but he obviously knows that there's going to be a third base. Then switching into attack into the Raven. Does have another Widowmine coming out. The depth looking to shade in. Isn't going to complete the shade once again. Did he, Oh, okay. So not going for a mine drop this time. Just using those for defense against maybe like a Stargate play, but Zest isn't a big Stargate player. Stim on the way now for the Terran. Zest coming across with his Blink Stalkers. He's got an Adept. He's got that Observer as well, so not bad. And the thing too is like, Special isn't going into tanks or anything like that. He's literally just going into the Stalker, or excuse me, Special's only going into like the Marine mine kind of style. So he's not going to be able to throw a tank on the high ground and try to stop any blinks from them into the main, or even down here onto the low ground. Does he actually see that though? Ah! I don't think he actually scattered it out. Okay, yeah, he did. Okay. Alrighty. So Zest's gonna blink back once again. We do see him eventually kind of return home. Still has the observer in the natural area, and we'll at least see that there's mines there, that there is some kind of damage. Raven does come across, looking to get a couple of kills, but I think he gets, yeah, like one probe. That's it. Charge on the way. Storm going to be coming down, and we are going to start seeing those additional gateways coming down. Going to be adding on an additional 4, throwing down with that charge, and you know, this is where it gets very, very scary for Special. He's still stuck on that 2-base economy. Stalker's just going to continue to push in, focusing down onto the Marauders. Backs up. Stim, 3 seconds away from finishing up. Eventually does take care of the Observer. And now wants to get in here, wants to try to push on some pressure. Does need to be careful though, because this force from Special is nice. The thing is like, for the moment, until all of these gateways get finished up, Special does have a superior army here. But can he utilize it? Finally taking a 3rd base. We'll slowly start pushing across the map. He's got that Raven, gonna throw down a couple of turrets. Probe's gonna get pulled to try to help do it. This does get 4. It's not bad. Doing a lot better than the previous game, but is it gonna be enough? Storm is done. He's got those High Templar charging up. Looks like another drop. Gonna go into the main base at the same time. These storms, though, could be disastrous for Special if he's not careful. Widowmine's gonna try to burrow in here. Storm is done. And we'll go down onto the army of recall, going into the main base. We'll force a pickup and a move out as the Zealots gonna get on top of the units. A blink forward, though, gonna focus down on one of those full medevacs units. And we'll get back 5 probes altogether do go down. Nice little scan. Gonna see the army kind of moving down. And eventually we will start seeing this counterattack coming across, as looks like Zest now ready for the final push. Potentially here, I mean, Special is trying to add more into this, but it gets very, very scary here for Special. 3rd base is done, though. He's going to make that into a orbital. Rock's going to get cleaned up in another big warp in of some High Templar. And Zealots going to make it some Archons for some extra defense. And this gets very scary. Storm's going down onto Special's army. And now he's just going to have free access to that 3rd base. Storm's keeping Special's army onto the ramp. And this is just insane. It's a good scout out. There's yeah. I guess that's probably the best it could have been. A couple of EMPs going off onto the army of Zest. Gonna pull the SCVs to try to help deal with this. Charge being done, though, just gonna obliterate the SCVs. And even with the Widowmine shots, I mean, he will clear up a good chunk of those Zealots. But the Stalkers just gonna keep focusing down. GG's.